The scorched Arabian landscape. A virtually waterless desert where rain scarcely falls and animals endure blistering temperatures. But for 3 months every year, a remote region in the southwest undergoes an astonishing transformation into a lush, verdant oasis. Animals feed and breed as they make the most of this brief seasonal abundance. Many are found nowhere else on the Arabian Peninsula. Life seizes its chance to flourish during the surprising Arabian monsoon. It's June in the Sultanate of Oman. The summer heat is building across the Arabian Peninsula. Temperatures here can exceed 123 degrees Fahrenheit. Survival is a battle. But in one remote area, it's possible to find respite from the inhospitable climate. On the southern coast of Oman, close to the Yemen border, the Dhofar mountain range divides the vast inland desert from the coast. These limestone mountains are known locally as Jebel. The thin strip of coastal plain between the Jebel and the sea has its own tropical microclimate. Temperatures here remain a relatively balmy 90 degrees year-round. In the middle of June, the land here is still dry, dusty, and barren. But some residents don't seem to mind. Male repels weaver birds, are hard at work building their characteristic hanging nests. Weavers are one of the world's most dexterous nest builders, constructing elaborate homes made of grass, twigs, and reeds. African in origin, rupels are the only weavers found in Arabia. Males develop a bright yellow breeding plumage to help them attract the less colorful females. The female picks her partner. She judges a male by the quality of his build. So if a male is to succeed, he needs to build a better home than his neighbor. Stage 1. Establish a firm, knotted foundation at the end of a branch. Weavers are the only birds in the world known to tie knots. Stage 2. Tie on long streamers of grass or reed, ready to create the basic shape. Next, tie the streamers together to create a simple hoop. This male is making solid progress. His structural hoop is complete. Now he builds up the walls, weaving the grasses in and around the main frame. The female casts a critical eye. The nest needs to protect future chicks from the rain that is coming. Small leaves are handy for filling gaps. His nifty beakwork catches the eye of the female. Or maybe she was checking out his neighbor. This male is already further up the property ladder. His dexterity demonstrates experience. Weavers actively learn how to improve their technique with each new nest they build. The neighbor has a nicer place now. But there's time. She's not moving in anywhere until she sees the finished pad. The weaver's fervent activity signals a change in the air. By late June, winds from the Indian monsoon blow up the east coast of Africa. They create turbulence in the Arabian Sea, driving nutrients up from deep water to the surface. This vital cold water upwelling breathes new life into the coastal waters. Above the waves, it cools the warm monsoon winds, causing clouds to amass over Dauphin's dramatic coast. A thick cloak of mist rolls inland, stretching 155 miles long and 15 miles wide. It hangs heavy over the escarpment and shrouds the coastal plain. This monsoon is surprisingly different. There are no thunderstorms or sudden downpours, just a heavy mist that only later will turn to rain. The mountains act as a barrier, trapping the new moisture. The landscape soaks it up like a sponge. Within days, the mist transforms the region. But this is just the beginning. Desert dwellers gather in their thousands. Many trekking from the arid land beyond the mountains. Herds of dromedary camels converge on the landscape as they begin to feast on the bounty of new green riches. Thanks to this seasonal change luring them in, the Dauphin region is the camel-producing capital of Oman. Camels are well adapted to cope with dry conditions and little food. Their large single hump is a fat reserve that keeps them nourished and hydrated through lean times. The monsoon feast enables them to fatten up and replenish this vital energy reserve. Camels are most commonly browsers. Woody shrubs and other raised vegetation make up 70% of their diet. But the carpets of new ground cover and wildflowers allow them to graze. Their thick lips protect them from thorny desert plants and help them pluck the softer vines growing on the ground. With so much food, they can afford to be choosy. Although they appear to roam freely, these camels are not wild. Arabian camels have been domesticated by humans for around 3,000 years. And these belong to Dhofari herdsmen. Some of these traditional tribal herdsmen move their animals seasonally between the desert and this new green pasture on the plain. The camels will feed here for the whole summer, roaming with their human tenders across the vast landscape. Although monsoons are more commonly associated with Asia, the word monsoon originates from the Arabic word for season. Here in Dhofar, this Arabian monsoon is colloquially known as Kharif. As June turns into July, the shrouding mist develops into rain. Light but persistent drizzle that lasts all day. Now that plant life is everywhere, invertebrates come out of hiding. These land snails avoid the harsh sunlight the rest of the year. Now they emerge from cover and scale the trees in great clusters to lap up the moisture. Caterpillars too are on the move. Some of these larval feeding machines can consume up to 27,000 times their body weight in just a few weeks. Others are out for a meal too. Birds get the benefit of the invertebrates' fattening. This shining sunbird prefers a sweeter treat. These energetic little birds are the largest of Oman's 4 species of sunbird. They're drawn to the nectar of a flowering hibiscus. Although they resemble hummingbirds, they lack the flight skills of their unrelated lookalikes. The long, pointed, curved beak reaches deep between the hibiscus petals, where its tongue, about 2/3 its total body length, can siphon up the nectar. There will be more blooms to come as the monsoon progresses. Back at the weaver colony, some of the nest-building males are nearing completion. The female will soon be able to inspect the nests and choose her mate. The master builder, who had an early lead on his rivals, is almost ready. His new spherical nest just needs a few finishing touches. The entrance faces down, allowing easy access for the weavers, but making it difficult for predators to reach. The male is now ready to advertise his new property. Hanging upside down on his doorstep, he flutters his wings to attract the female's attention. When it appears he has it, he makes way for her to inspect his nest and continues his campaign from a close vantage point. But she doesn't accept his invitation. She has options after all. Next door, his neighbor presents a greener alternative. Now the female has two offers. The master builder isn't about to give up. He draws her attention back to his nest. This time, the female takes notice. Finally, his upside-down tenacity pays off. He immediately increases his wing beats to maximize his chances to seal the deal. It appears to do the trick. A distinctive call signals trouble for the new couple. An African Diedrich cuckoo, here to breed during the monsoon, is a menace to weavers. Females will kick out the weaver's eggs and replace them with one of their own. The weavers must stay vigilant to these African seasonal intruders. Dhofar is home to many other African species. Some, like the cuckoo, migrate in to breed. But others have taken up residency. At a permanent spring, now full with crystal clear water, an African paradise flycatcher hunts for insects on the wing. Nearby, a gray-headed kingfisher keeps a silent vigil from its lookout post. Unlike most kingfishers, he's not eyeing up the fish beneath him. This kingfisher prefers to eat ground insects. But with none yet in sight, he may have to wait a little longer. It's not just the birds with African roots. On the steep slopes of the escarpment lives a small and rather elusive mammal. The rock hyrax, or dassi, as it's often better known in Africa. In the morning, the hyraxes emerge cautiously from their boulder homes. These shy little mammals are on alert for danger, which often comes from above. Aerial predators, particularly eagles, are a constant threat. Coast clear, one by one they emerge. The hyrax may look like a rodent, but its closest relative is in fact the largest of all living land mammals, the elephant. The rather unlikely relatives diverged from a common ancestor which died out around 50 million years ago. Colony life is all about safety in numbers. This colony has around 20 members. A sentry keeps watch for predators, whilst the rest of the colony relaxes in the sun during a rare break in the mist. If the sentry spots danger, it will raise the alarm with a sharp, shrill call. For now, all is well. But for small, meaty mammals, danger is rarely far away. By August, the effects of the Kharif are in full flow. A waterfall in Arabia is an extremely rare sight. 6 weeks ago, these cliffs were completely dry. Dhofar gets more rainfall than the rest of Arabia combined. Despite this, it's home to just one amphibian, the Dhofar toad. The rain triggers the toad's breeding season. Around the wet wadis, males are getting to grips with larger females. They'll need to hold on tight if they want to become fathers. As the rain persists throughout August, the Arabian camels munch their way through the new monsoon menu. Camels here fill the same niche as giraffes in Africa, browsing on leaves out of others' reach. They have the same number of vertebrae in their necks as the world's tallest land mammal. They also share a taste for acacia, although today an evergreen guari tree is proving to be an appetizing alternative. This messy eater moves its bottom jaw sideways to crush the woody branch, but doesn't need to chew it all that well first time round. Camels are ruminants, meaning they chew their food more than once. Each mouthful swallowed ferments in one of 3 stomach chambers before the camel regurgitates it as cud to chew again later. For now, though, there's plenty more where that last mouthful came from. The monsoon brings other unusual offerings for the camels. The inflow of fresh water invigorates coastal lagoons, making them highly productive feeding and fish breeding grounds. They mostly attract birds, like this egret. But camels aren't averse to wading in. A small herd dines out on an aquatic banquet. Camels are able to drink 53 gallons of water in just 3 minutes. But most of their fluids come from the food they eat. In a land where bodies of fresh water rarely exist, a lagoon like this can feed, cool, and rehydrate a herd. By late August, the weaver colony is a bustling hive of activity. Females are busy feathering nests that have met with their approval and refusing those they don't like. The novice builder from earlier is undoing all his hard work. Rejection is never easy. Males can make several attempts at a nest before a female will accept it. The master builder and his partner have been busy too. Over 2 weeks ago, the female laid her eggs. Now, new life emerges. 3 hungry beaks. Multiple beaks are good news. They mean there's no parasitical cuckoo chick to raise. But female weavers usually lay 2 eggs per nest. 3 just means more work for mum. Caterpillars are packed with nutrition, but you can only bring one at a time. And like all dutiful mothers, she's often faced with the less glamorous side of child rearing. The fed chick poops into its own disposable diaper, which the female removes to keep the nest clean. The young weavers will remain in the nest for 18 days. A ready supply of moths and bugs keeps them well fed and growing fast. While she's busy feeding the chicks, their prolific father has built a new nest and found another partner. Many weavers are polygamous. Male repels can partner up to 3 females at a time. Juggling the demands of dating, mating, and nest building is exhausting. There will be no let-up until Harif is over. Further up the escarpment, visibility is poor over the Hyrax colony. The sentry will find it harder to spot approaching predators while the mist remains. The adults are cautious, but venture out to forage. Hyraxes are predominantly grazers, eating grasses and other low-growing vegetation. But the monsoon also brings browsing opportunities. Commiphora, more commonly known as Abyssinian myrrh, grows endemically in this region. The small leaves are sparse among the spiny branches of the shrub, but provide valuable nutrition to the hyrax. Reaching the leaves, however, requires skill and a bit of daring. This one takes its time to balance. But another has clearly done this before. Rock hyraxes are well adapted for climbing. Their clawless feet have a rubbery texture, enabling them to clamber easily among their rocky habitat. The thin branches of the shrub are a bigger challenge. Hyraxes feed rapidly. Speed eating enables them to forage for only an hour a day. Less time in the open means less likelihood of getting nabbed by a predator. Like the camels, hyraxes have a 3-chambered stomach to help them digest their food. They're not ruminants. They don't need to chew their food twice, but bacteria in their gut help them to digest it as efficiently. An alarm call shatters the peace. The distinctive shape and pattern of an eagle soars over the escarpment. Varroa eagles breed here in the Dhofar Mountains. They are the biggest threat to the hyraxes. This one is not alone. Pairs hunt cooperatively. One attracts the attention of the hyrax, whilst the other swoops down unnoticed to grab its victim. The hyraxes hide amongst the boulders, but it looks as though someone wasn't fast enough today. Come September, the monsoon mist begins to clear, resulting in occasional bright days. Reptiles tend to keep a low profile during the wet weather, preferring dry conditions. But now the days are brightening, a flamboyant lizard begins to reveal itself. An Arabian chameleon. Oman is home to 103 species of reptile, but this is the only chameleon on the Arabian Peninsula. It lives only here in the monsoon belt. It spends more time on the ground than other arboreal chameleons. Out in the open it's exposed, but does its best to blend into its surroundings. Chameleons are best known for their ability to change color. This can provide useful camouflage. It can also help them regulate their temperature and communicate their mood. As it moves into cover, it becomes almost invisible. Each eye rotates independently, enabling it to look forwards and backwards at the same time to check for danger. Reaching the safety of a tree, it changes color again. Mimicking a branch will keep this quirky reptile out of sight should the eagles come circling again. Higher up in a nearby fig tree, a feast is underway. A Bruce's green pigeon makes the most of the ripening fruit. Carotenoids in the figs give this pigeon its bright yellow and green colors. The bird's plumage is at its most striking at this time of year, when the fruit is ripe. By late September, the Kharif fades into memory. The rushing water of the falls no longer echoes through the valley. The days become brighter and drier. The change of weather suits the sun-loving hyrax colony. Up on the escarpment, the eagles have flown off. but a stark reminder of a predator remains. As the sentry takes up its lookout position, the mammals take advantage of the returning sun. Rock hyraxes have poor thermoregulation. Like reptiles, basking in the sun enables them to warm up without using their own energy. Kharif's rains may be gone, but they have left a parting gift. Pups. Female hyraxes time the birth of their young to coincide with the monsoon. The babies have remained hidden in their bolder homes and emerge when food is more plentiful. The youngsters form a creche, close to the safety of a boulder bolt hole. Huddling together is another good way to warm up. Others are starting to find their feet, practicing their rock climbing skills. These two seem more adventurous than their nursery peers. The pair heads up to the myrrh bush, where the adults are feeding. But they won't be getting any climbing lessons from this one. Surely a lighter youngster stands a better chance. Young hyraxes develop remarkably quickly. They can run and jump within a few hours of being born. Learning how to balance can be more challenging. There will inevitably be more hard lessons to learn. Practice will eventually grant all the young hyraxes the skills they need for life in the colony. As October arrives, many of the nests in the weaver colony are looking a little disheveled. The master builder's nest is now empty. The fledglings remain close by, as does their mother. They're not yet old enough to fend for themselves. They still beg for food from mum. Nearby, a juvenile cuckoo has long left its foster nest. One pair of hapless weavers was cheated into raising it as their own. But now it must fend for itself. Despite the passing of the rains, the weavers are still breeding. True to form, the master builder now has a new nest. a new female, and new chicks, which are as hungry as their half-siblings. But the breeding season is drawing to a close, and he's starting to lose the bright yellow plumage that separates the weaver men from the boys. His mating colors will return next spring as he attempts to start family life once more. With the mist and running water now gone, the seasonal feast of lush vegetation will soon diminish. The last of the figs and flowers help build up fat reserves ready for lean times ahead. The enormous trunk of this African baobab tree stores enough water for it to survive until the rains return next year. As the grasses start to dry up, the dromedary camels begin to move on with their human herders. Their bellies are full, their humps are firm, each holding up to 80 pounds of fat. This vital energy reserve helps to sustain them through the long, dry winter that lies ahead here. For now, the monsoon is over. This herd will return to the desert beyond the mountains. Next year, the rains will come again, transforming the Dhofar Mountains of Arabia once more.